Hey everyone, how's it going? Sitting Low coming at you guys with another video, and I'm going to be working on the C10 a little bit today. And if you guys have been following along with the build, you guys know that my exhaust headers and my exhaust system is just hits the ground and it's way too low. So I finally ordered my exhaust headers. They're in the mail. They should be here sometime this week. So once the headers show up in the mail, we're going to go ahead and be able to throw those on, and we'll be able to fab up a new exhaust and be able to let this thing lay on the ground the way it's supposed to be. So let's go ahead and start pulling the old stuff off. Alright you guys, so as of now I got the truck jacked up in there. I got this side of the exhaust disconnected, and I'm just going ahead and undoing these exhaust bolts right here. First I pulled all my plug wires off and labeled them, that way I didn't get my firing order all messed up. But yeah, just going ahead and taking the old ones off and making way for the new ones. Alrighty guys, so I finally got both headers removed from both sides, and I got the mid pipes that run underneath the cab on both sides removed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut the hood, and we're going to finally be able to see, now that we don't have to worry about the exhaust bottoming out anymore, just how low this thing actually goes. A little bit lower now, huh? It is definitely like 2 inches lower than I could ever sit it before, so it's definitely going to be awesome, because the thing I'll benefit from that is, as I stated in previous videos, I was always pretty limited to how low I could actually drive it, because I was always worried about bottoming the exhaust out, and I actually did snag the exhaust a couple of times. But once everything's redone and tucked up nice and neat, I will literally be able to drive it that low on a super smooth road. Not saying that I would, but maybe like, in a parking lot at like a 5-roll or something, just creeping along. So can't wait till the new headers get here, and we're gonna throw them things on and see where it goes from there. So stick around. So I got a package in the mail today, and as you can tell, it's from Hedman, and these are my new mid-length exhaust headers. Part number 69010, and from what I've read about these headers, these are pretty much specifically designed for C10 pickups with a V8 that are, pretty much slammed to the ground. So let's rip them open and take a peek at what we got here. So I believe this is the passenger side. Driver's side header. And it came with some ball and socket type collectors there, so pretty much everything you need. Now I'm just going to go ahead and start test fitting these. And once I'm confident that they're going to line up and fit just perfect, and everything's going to work fine, I think I'm going to go ahead and just strip all this factory paint off it, because they more or less put this paint on it from the factory for shipping purposes, just to keep them from rusting. And the second you actually run the engine and heat them up, this shipping paint just starts to melt right off. So instead of having to, install them twice, I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and paint them before I even put them on. Well, I'll paint them before I permanently install them. But anyways, you see what's going on here. Definitely a lot shorter than the old long tube headers, so that should definitely make a difference. Alrighty guys, so what I'm doing right now is I'm putting the truck back up on the jack stands, and I just wanted to show you this little hack real quick. If you've got a floor jack that's, just really touchy, and sometimes you're trying to lower it and you want to lower it, very slowly and carefully, sometimes you give it a twist and it'll just drop the truck on the ground or whatever you're working on. I like to just grab a pair of these channel locks, bite the handle, and then you get much more leverage and control out of lowering the jack. That way you can lower it nice and easily. You don't got to worry about it slamming onto the ground. So just a little pro tip for you. So right now I got them just bolted in. I don't got them tightened down or anything. I'm more or less just test fitting them, make sure everything's going to work. And I think they're going to work out pretty good. So still test fitting everything, and one thing I noticed right off the bat was on the driver's side here, this spark plug here is extremely close to the header tube. It's only got about a 1/4 inch of gap right there, and to even get this spark plug to even thread in there, I had to physically loosen the header and kind of rock it up out of the way and screw it in there. And with that being the way it is, there is no physical way I'll be able to get a spark plug boot even on there. So I guess one thing I could do is I could dimple the tube a little bit, but I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to jump around on the internet and try to find, you know, a shorter plug, because the plugs I'm currently running are Delco R45TS, and I believe that the S stands for extended tip, so I know that they make shorter plugs. I know that Excel makes shorty spark plugs, you know, for tight fitting headers and whatnot. So I'm just going to jump around on the web and see what I can come up with as far as a shorter plug goes. So after doing a little bit of research and jumping around on the interweb, what I was able to come up with were these NGK UR5s, or 277 1 plugs, and I think these are going to be the solution to my problem. Now let me go ahead and pull one out of the box here. Let's take a peek at it. You can see here that this plug is literally about 3/8 of an inch shorter than the standard Delco. So I think these are going to work out just fine. So let's go see how they fit. Alright, so now I got one of the UR5 plugs in there, and now you can see I got plenty of room in there. Now I'll be able to get my spark plug boots on there, no problem. Okay, so another issue I ran into while I was putting them in was, if you can see right here on this bell housing here, I had to trim off this little tab right here. It's more or less just a bolt hole for this torque converter cover. But I had to get in there with the Sawzall and nibble that off so that collector didn't hit it. It's good to go now. Another thing I noticed as I was looking underneath this truck, if you can see right here where you can obviously see where somebody took a torch to it and cut that out. At one point in time, there was a cross member that went from that side to that side. Now, if that cross member were still there, this collector would have dumped directly into that cross member. So I'm not sure if that cross member was for like a inline 6 and a different transmission or something like that, but I'm just pointing it out in case your truck may have that cross member there going across, because if you had it, these headers would not work for you. Okay, so now that I'm confident that everything's going to line up and everything's going to work fine, what I'm doing now is I'm stripping down this factory paint on the headers that they ship it with. That's just more or less just to keep the tubes from rusting while it's in transit and shipping, and while it's sitting on a shelf somewhere. You start the car with that paint on it, that paint's going to burn off within 20 minutes. So rather than install them, then having to take them off and paint them again, I'm just going ahead and stripping them down, and I'm going to hit them with some high temp paint, and that way, you know, they'll be good to go. So just figured I'd include that real quick. So here it is a couple hours later, and if you can see behind me, I got them both painted up, and they turned out really good. I hit them with about 4 nice thick coats of paint and let them bake out in the sun for a few hours. And now I just brought them in here, and I'm just going to let them hang out overnight and do their thing. So hopefully by tomorrow they'll be nice and cured, and we'll be able to go ahead and throw them on. But if you can tell by looking at them, they turned out really nice. Nice gloss finish to them. So I guess now the real question is, how's this paint going to hold up? Because I did not use VHT high temperature exhaust paint. What I ended up using was just this barbecue grill paint. So we'll see how it holds up in the long run. It's definitely going to last longer than that chipping paint. So, and in case you guys are wondering, when I used to strip them down initially, I just used this aerosol just paint stripper, nothing too crazy, and it did an okay job, but I still had to put in some elbow grease. But anyway, just let them hang out and dry, so tomorrow we'll be able to throw them in, so stick around. Okay, so here we are the next day, and as you can see, I got the driver's side installed already, and it fits really good, and plug boots and everything. Plenty of clearance there, so nothing to worry about. So all I got to do now is put the passenger side on. I'm just waiting for this Permatex gasket sealant to tack up a little bit, and then once that tacks up, time to throw it all together. So stick around. Alrighty, got the passenger side one in now, got all my plugs back in, got all my plug wires back on, and everything's good to go. And I think they're going to work out really good. Got plenty of clearance on my frame rail, plenty of clearance on all my spark plugs. Let's go to this side here. Same thing over here, plenty of room. So now all I got to come up with is the rest of the exhaust, pretty much everything underneath the cab, which I think I'm honestly just going to take it to a shop and have them do it because A, I don't have an exhaust bender here, and B, you know, I'd rather just have a couple of nice single pieces of pipe bent and formed for where they need to go instead of me just cobbling a bunch of random pieces together. So when I get the exhaust done, I'll report back. Alright, so here we are a couple of days later. Got the exhaust done under the cab, everything's wrapped up, everything's good to go. I wanted to wait a couple of days just so I could get two birds stoned at once and show you guys how the barbecue paint on the headers is holding up so far. I got about 200 miles on it. It seems to be holding up pretty good. If you take a look at it right now, I think it turned out nice. That is nice low ride height for Michigan roads right there, and I ain't got to worry about snagging nothing. So let's go ahead and raise it up and take a peek. I'm going to try to hit you guys with a little sound clip just so you can hear what they sound like. And honestly, it doesn't sound any different than the old ones. Not too loud, not too quiet, nice deep rumble to it. How a V8 should sound. Alright, so going underneath, you can see everything with the exhaust is tucked up nice and neat. I guess that would be the lowest part of it right there. But my lower control arm isn't even that low, so I ain't got to worry about that hitting. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but for some reason my camera's going dim. Anyway, it goes through that cross member cutout that I made just nice, so everything worked out really good. And now for the best part. Thing just lays out so much better now, almost to the point where I want to pull the bed back off and start cutting and making the back go lower, but I think I'm content for now. Main goal is more or less just to get it to where I could actually drive the thing low. I don't have to worry about ripping my exhaust off. Like I said, I got about 200 miles on it so far. Everything's holding up good. Show you guys the paint on the headers too. As you can see, you know, once I initially started it, there was that initial smoke. This side's starting to bubble just a little bit, which makes me believe that I'm running lean on this side. But anyway, we'll keep our eye on them and see how they hold up. But anyway, much worth the investment with the new headers, because it's just the peace of mind thing. Because like I said before, there was times when I was driving around trying to look cool and be low, and I ended up damn near ripping my whole exhaust system off this thing. So now it's just one less thing to worry about, and everything's good to go. A couple of things I should mention. When they ran the pipes down, you know, my transmission cooler lines were, you know, within a couple of inches proximity of the exhaust tube, so I bought some of that titanium exhaust wrap stuff and just wrapped it where it needed to be wrapped, where it got close to anything. But other than that, it was pretty simple, straightforward install. I didn't have to get too crazy with it, so I think that's going to wrap it up for the C10 header install. I just wanted to include you guys on what I was doing to her, you know, because some of you guys been following along with the build on this truck, and you know, just want to show you guys everything. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to Hedman for making cool headers for Slam C10 trucks. Anyway, thanks again. You guys take it easy.